So, Ethan, I'm doing amazing because, hello, I'm speaking with you, Mr. Bach himself.
Oh, hey, it's mutual. That's how I feel.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good.
Ethan, will your life ever be the same after being being a part of Wicked? And that is a serious question.
Yeah, I mean, no. I think there's a lot of we always have these different milestones. Every year there's something that changes your life, every day even. Um, so it's just that to be a part of something that has such a big impact on the world and also has such a big personal impact for me because it was such a big part of my life before I was a part of it. Uh, it's kind of a crazy thing, and I don't know how to make sense of how it's changed my life, but it certainly
Mm.
has and will.
How do you feel about I don't even know. I can't even call them fans because the Wicked fan base it's on another level. So how involved and how excited do you get with all of the action and all of the attention that you and the cast and the franchise in general, continues to get over the years and up until now?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a beautiful thing how many people have responded to the movie and feel the same way about it that we do. And it's a really cool thing to see that reflected, to see people sort of diving in head first and, picking it apart in the same way that actors and filmmakers pick it apart when they start a project. And that, so it's a really cool shared experience. And yeah, I'm really grateful for it. It's not often that you get to do a project that has so many different people
Yeah.
from all over the world engaging with it in this way. It's really special.
I feel like that's the perfect segue into my question. When you say all the different people around the world engaging with it, you were a part of John Chu's largest casting call ever. And not only just a part of it, but you were chosen. So invite me into your heart space, once that transpired in your life. And I mean, the call, I want to know about the final callback. I want to know about how did things go when you got the call or the email, however that went, saying you landed the role. Let's take things back there.
Yeah. I mean, it was insane. I made a self-tape. I got a call that they were taking tapes for the role of Bach, and I thought there's gonna be thousands and thousands of people who submit for this. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know how many people they saw, but it seems like anybody who was 5'7" or under was gonna send in a tape. And so I went into it thinking like I want to nail it. I feel like I would be great for this, but also, you know, I got to be realistic. This is probably one of the ones that you're going to send in and it goes into the void and you never hear back. But I also didn't have anyone to read with. I wanted to do a really good job and I wanted to take my time. So what I did was I made a video of me playing Glinda and Nessa, and I put that video in my eyeline so that I was reading with myself, and I did the tape with myself, playing both parts.
Wow.
So when I sent it in, I was like, okay, big swing, but probably pretty embarrassing that I did that.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't count against me. And then I didn't hear for a while. And then I finally got a call saying that John wanted to have a Zoom and meet and chat, which already was a huge win. I'm a massive fan of John's. So
Yeah.
to get to meet one of my favorite filmmakers was already a huge win. We
Yeah.
sat down on Zoom and we chatted for 25 minutes. We read each side once, and then he said goodbye. And I was like, okay, that was cool. He's an awesome guy, and
Yeah.
this is in really good hands. Um, but then I didn't hear again for months and months and months. And I thought all right, make peace. It's okay. But I reached out to my team and I was like, I asked my manager, do you mind um, just checking in? I know that I'm not getting my hopes up, but if they went with somebody else, I would love to just send a message to John to say
Yeah.
thank you for taking the time to meet with me and good luck. I'm excited for the movie. And my manager was like, yeah, I can do that. And he called me 5, 10 minutes later and he said, can you be in LA tomorrow?
What? Are you kidding me? It
And I was
went
like,
like that?
I mean, we'll figure it out. Yeah, it was just like that. And in my head, if he hadn't checked in, I wouldn't have gotten it. But it turns out behind the scenes, they were like, well, we're going to be seeing a bunch of Nessas tomorrow. And you know what? We should test him and this one other guy and just see what happens. So I think my point of view, the actor's point of view on it, you have such limited information. You don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So for me, I was imagining that I was like kind of, in a sea of people. And
Yeah.
then I got to come in and read with a bunch of Nessas. They hadn't found Marissa yet. And she's
Mm.
she's like so special and amazing. But I read with some other unbelievably talented women who are just really incredible. And I mean, that experience was great. I spent like, I don't know, 3 hours doing different reads and talking with John, getting to know him and talking with Mark, and it was really special.
Let me ask you something, Ethan. Like, okay, so you say the second go round, like the last phase between finding out whether or not you had the role,
Mhm.
that time frame looked like months. What was it that really moved you to nudge your manager, your team to like, was it like, okay, listen, it's been months, I'm over this. I just need to know so I could put it behind me. Or was it just like a day you were feeling like good, like
Yeah,
what moved your spirit?
I was working on another film at the time, and so I was like on set. I'd been on set for a little bit, and I was just kind of feeling that like itch, like of, you know, I don't know, I did this thing, I had this great meeting, it was awesome. Um, there was just like something, I don't know, there was just something about like where I was in that moment, and I was just like, I was like, I either need to let this go
Yeah.
or I need to well, no, I need to let this go. That was actually what it was. It was just I need to let this go.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know what it was. I think it was just I had that meeting in May, and then I was filming this at the in the middle of July. So this would have been, it was 2 months later.
Mm.
And I think I was just like, it's been long enough, you know?
Take me back to your audition tape because I find it to be very interesting. I want to ask, like, obviously, I'm sure your height, your weight, everything about you, your style, landed you the role. Thereafter, your overall experience, talent, and skill set. But how much of this role, you landing this opportunity, do you feel played in your creativity behind your audition tape? This that makes sense. Like the way in which you did your audition tape,
Yeah.
you felt a little like, this could either make or break me, but you were still willing to take that unique risk. How much of that do you feel like helped you lock this role in?
I don't know. I might have to ask John that. I do think that it gave me the freedom to just like do my thing and
Yeah.
take my time with it, and also like give it full, like 100% my take, I was like,
Yeah.
this is gonna be my version of Bach, and I want to do it the way that I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes making these tapes is such a weird experience, and having to ask somebody for help or to pay somebody for help. It's like a
Yeah.
weird thing as an actor. It adds to the vulnerability of it. And so I think that I gave myself extra work,
Yeah.
which like made me take my mind off of some of the other work, and then it also gave me the freedom to be as weird and vulnerable as possible. I don't know, it might have made it stand out. I mean, I have
Yeah.
talked to John about it, and like, I feel like the one thing that he told me was that he kind of knew from my tape
Yeah.
and which is crazy because for me that tape happened and then I didn't hear for so long. I had no idea, but that's what he says, which is really a really kind thing to say. So I think it might have been some version of that. I don't know. It's hard to
Congratulations.
know. It's really hard to know.
No, congratulations. Like seriously. But when we're talking about like theater, musicals, that genre of like, what you do for a living as an actor, like, are you more passionate about that element of, television, film, movies, and the roles that you take on?
Yeah, I love film, and I never thought of myself as somebody who's going to be doing musicals. I love musical theater, like I'm a big fan of it, but I never like saw that as my major skill set. Um,
Mm,
and so it's pretty cool that I've gotten to do musicals on Broadway and musicals on screen. But
yeah.
I love film, and I think that's what made this feel like such a good project for me, and for a lot of people. But for me, it felt really, we were making a film, and we needed the skill set of being able to sing and be comfortable singing and tell stories with our voices in this very specific way. But like that wasn't number one on the list. Number one on the list was acting, being like making a film. Number one on the list was like inhabiting this character, and number two was having the skill set to sing it and all that stuff. And of course, Cynthia and Ariana, like the greatest singers in the world, but
Hmm.
they're also the greatest actors in the world, and that's
Yeah.
why this thing worked. You know, they are unicorns in that way. They both can act their asses off and they can sing like nobody else. And that's, I think, what makes the difference. And so for me, it felt like a really perfect project. For me, I was like, I love film. It's like a medium that like I want to do more of because
Yeah.
I love acting on film. I just like it's one of my favorite things. And then to have had the experience of doing a musical and knowing what it means to tell a story in that way and to move between speaking and singing and to have like worked on the techniques of singing to make sure that it doesn't go from like talking to like singing, like
Yeah. Yeah.
like be able to control that a little bit because I've had the experience of working on musicals on and off Broadway. Um,
Right.
I think it just was a really helpful thing in my toolbox that I didn't necessarily know. I didn't know that that was going to be the route to here.
Interesting. Let me ask you something, Ethan, just as an actor in general, like when we're talking dance and movement,
Yeah,
how
terrifying.
much of that would you say like transfers over into acting, regardless of whatever role it is? I would think that like dance and movement plays it, obviously it's choreography, right? But to the viewers, I think that I feel like it's probably a component that people overlook when they're looking at, television shows and things of that nature. So how much would you say it correlates over into acting?
I think it's different for every actor, but for me, I'm
Okay.
not a dancer really. Like I dance and I have taken dance classes to be more comfortable dancing, but I love physical acting. I love physical comedy and I use my body a lot in various ways. The joke that I tell is that I fall for a living. Like I love that part of I
Okay.
love that part of storytelling and performing and acting. And I
Hmm.
think that dance is an extension of that. So I think that
Yeah.
like the more facility you have with your body and the different ways you can use your body to express things, it really helps. And it helps you play in different genres and it helps you like create a full character. Even in the most like standard kitchen sink kind of scene, if you know
Hmm.
where your body is at all times, you can make more choices about how to do it. You can really inhabit a character in a different way. And I think that dance really helps with that. So I think they feed each other, being able to like tell a story with your movement and it convey character with your dancing. And
Yeah.
also the dancing gives you the ability to hold yourself in a way that like you can tell you can
Yeah.
become somebody else. So I think they
And
really help each other.
yeah, so let's talk about Bach for a minute. Like how much of like what did that learning curve look like for you choreography wise? I want to know like how heavy was that 10-man costume? Like did it kind of slow you down, weigh you down with, some any
Yeah.
particular scenes? Like let's talk about that.
Well, I don't know if it weighed me down, but it was heavy and really
It was
uncomfortable.
heavy.
Yeah, and so I had rehearsals in it. I would put it on, and I would spend a few hours in a this big airplane hangar that we rehearsed in with mirrors on every wall, and I worked on the movement and I worked on, well, what happens if I have to jump in this? What happens if I have to walk? Like, how can I lean? Can I dance? Can I run? And I like figured out. And then not only can I, but how do I do it as a character? How do I do it as Bach, who now
Yeah.
because Bach has his own way of walking. He has his own sort of like, his feet are sort of turned down and he kind of walks in this very particular way.
Right.
And so how do I take that and still have it be Bach, but now he's like angry and front loaded and he doesn't know how his limbs move anymore and like he's trying to make sense of it and his joints are now mechanical. So like from the elbows it moves really differently and he can't move it all the way. And some of that was constraints of the actual costume.
Yeah.
Some of that was like the physical constraints of it, but some of it was what does it mean for Bach to be made of metal?
Yeah.
And how does that move? So we spent hours doing that. Um,
Oh my God.
and like, that to me is like a really special part of the process and a real privilege of being a part of a movie where they care enough to put some of the budget into rehearsing. We
Yeah.
had weeks of rehearsal for the big choreography moments for the little intimate moments and for things like how does Bach move. And Johnny did this also with the Scarecrow. He has a really specific physicality and walk, and we just spent time sort of inhabiting that. But yeah, I will say that the uncomfortable costume ended
Yeah.
up being helpful. I was
How
like,
much
all
time
right.
would you say you spent overall in the costume?
I don't know. I could look back. It was like over 15 days of filming as Bach. I mean, as the Tin Man.
Mhm.
Uh, which maybe doesn't sound like a lot, or maybe it does. I'm not really sure.
It
But
does.
it was, a surprising number of days getting in,
Mhm.
um, considering how much he's actually there. So yeah, it was good. I mean, the process was a lot.
It makes me want to also ask, and we're going to move on from this because I obviously, I'm sure the whole world has so many questions about the costume in general. Were you sore? Like, did you experience body aches like after when you came out of costume?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like it was like holding it all, and it was like all sort of attached, and it's supposed to be sort of holding itself up, and they did the best they could to like
Yeah.
make it comfortable, but you're wearing a metal suit and it's pulling it. I mean, it's not made of metal, but it's heavy.
I get.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
talk about your hair. Was that like your natural hair color at the time? Like, what did that process look like?
Yeah,
Because
it's looking a
I was
little dark
obsessed
right
with your
now,
hair.
but it really is I mean on the one of the first days that I arrived in London, Frances Hannon, who did the hair and makeup, she's incredible. We were talking, she was like, "Hey, so like we have two ways that we might go with all the Munchkins. The Munchkins
Mhm.
might have like blue hair with blue eyes, and like that's going to be sort of the unifying thing. Or they might have like red curly hair, brown eyes, and freckles. What do you think? Which one?" And I was like, "Well, I mean, probably red curly hair, brown eyes, and freckles." That's like, she's like, "Okay, great." So everybody had red curly hair, brown eyes, and freckles,
Yeah.
which was really, and I was like, oh, that's like kind of based on me. But they did like amp it up. They gave me some extra extensions. Uh,
Oh, okay.
that was like, yeah, that had like highlights in it. So they had highlights in it and extensions. So it was like longer and a little curlier, and it let them be a little more architectural. But it was based on my hair,
I
which is
love the
it is
hair.
looking really dark. I don't know why it's looking so.
I love your hair though. It's very funky. It's very unique. Do you have any special or, designated type of rituals that you like explore and go into prior to stepping into any character that you play?
To be completely honest, because I've been thinking about this a lot recently, no. I mean, I approach it differently each time, I think. I always read the script a lot. I always like sort of break down the script, and I like to do research if it's something that is based on a real person.
Mhm.
I like to read biographies and autobiographies, what I can get my hands on. I like to like do all that stuff in advance, and then I kind of put it away and try to make it my own. I think that like I my process is different each time, and it's sort of tailored to what the experience is going to be.
Okay.
And if we have a rehearsal process, I love showing up to rehearsal prepared, and I also really love finding it with the people that I'm collaborating with, because a character isn't in isolation. And unless you're doing a one-man show or you're doing a solo movie, you're
Yeah.
never performing in isolation. You have to play off of the choices that your collaborators have made, that your co-stars have made. So I like to find as much as I can in the room, having a basis of preparations that if the questions come up, I have a way to answer it.
Yeah.
But in terms of rituals, I mean, like, I'm usually really good about exercising at the beginning of a project, and then I usually get pretty bad by the end of it. I start like, I'm gonna be running every morning before rehearsal. I'm gonna be working out. You know what? At lunchtime, I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm gonna
Yeah.
work out.
Mhm.
I need to stay on top of my game. And about 3 weeks in, I'm like, maybe I'll wake up a little later.
Yeah, I'll take a little break. I know you have a busy day ahead of you, and I know we have to wrap, but I refuse to wrap without asking you about this infamous GQ cover of yours. And I want to I want to talk about that because I want to know, how did it come about? And this is like freaking GQ. right? Like the actual cover. Like, do you have like some modeling background stuff going on the world doesn't know about? Were you intimidated? Were you like confident going into that? Like, what was that entire experience like for you?
No, I'm intimidated by everything. I'm like nervous going into
You.
everything. I'm definitely not a model. It was fun though. It's really fun to be surrounded by people and have like great photographers who like know what they're doing and can make everyone feel a little more comfortable. But no, everything's like, especially like being in front of a camera and taking pictures, it's really, I mean, if I'm playing somebody else and I'm playing a character and
Mhm.
there's motion to it, I feel good. If I'm playing
Okay.
myself or like trying to pose or like look cool, it's gonna be a nightmare. Um,
Really?
yeah, it's hard. It's so hard. But I mean, it was fun. I had a great time doing it. I love the way it turned out. It was really
Mhm.
cool. But I'm definitely go into it nervous and intimidated, and I'm just trying to have fun.
It's so interesting how like the project plays out totally different on the other side. You look so confident. It's literally one of the sexiest GQ covers like ever. I'm obsessed with
Thank
it.
you.
And I also, and I am about to let you go. I want to point out your style because for some reason I feel like very soon you're about to be like very well known for the suits that you wear on red carpets. You're I see what you got going on,
Thank
Ethan.
you. Thank you. Well, I work with someone who's really great. Jason Rembert is pretty awesome, and he listens to me too, so I always feel pretty comfortable, which is good. But
I see,
thank you for that.
I see what you're doing.
I
I
know
see what you're
I've
doing.
been like trying to put some. I love like looking at what other people are doing, and I've always like enjoyed it from afar. And so it's been
Hmm.
really fun to just like have my own private little,
Yeah,
figuring it out. It's been a good time. Thank you for saying that. That means a lot to me.
I'm telling you, very soon you're about to go viral for your fashion. So remember talking with Tasha about that.
I will.
Ethan, thank you so much for your time today. Congratulations on absolutely everything. And I'm gonna keep my eyes open for you. I'm excited to see what's next for you. I really am.
Likewise. Thank you so much.